How are you responding to life situation? Are you responding in fear or are you responding in faith? Are you responding in the spirit or you are responding in the flesh? Mind the way you respond. Every time something comes out, the first thing that comes out of your mouth, the very first thing that comes out of your mouth, will go a long way in determining how that matter is resolved. Hello, welcome to another episode. Today, I want to share with us on our first response. So, I titled this, Your First Response. Okay, so how do you respond to situations in the event of crisis or some issues? All right, how do you respond? Now, today, what we are looking at is more than your response. We are looking at your first response. And this is critical. You see, your first response is critical in determining how the matter eventually will turn out. All right. Your first response is a very critical factor. All right. In determining the outcome of the issue. All right. So we have a story in the book of Mark chapter 5. The story about Jairus' daughter, who was at the point of death. And Jairus traveled some distance to Jesus. You know, at this time, he met Jesus, just was busy in some ministrations and all of that. Well, while all of these were ongoing, a message came to Jairus. And they came and they told Jairus in chapter 5, verse 35, thereabout. And they said to Jairus, your daughter is late. Your daughter is dead. Do not trouble the master any further. Let the master be. All right, don't trouble Jesus anymore. Let Jesus be. This can be likened to certain situations. You know, you just receive a particular news or an event or something or a business went, you know, in a particular way that you may not really like. So, how do you respond? Your response will determine, your first response, all right, will determine how that matter will turn out most of the time. All right, and this is a spiritual law, is the spiritual operation. I need to look at this. So in verse 36, Mark chapter 5, verse number 36, the Bible recorded, as soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, so these guys came and they told Jairus, leave the master alone. Your daughter is dead. There is nothing that can be done anymore. Let him be. Jesus knew the importance of his response because he's going to respond. He was going to say something, maybe an exclamation mark. Hey, ha, you know, some kind of shout and all of that. You see, but Jesus quickly arrested that situation, turned to Jairus and spoke to him in verse 36. Mark chapter 5, verse 36. As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said to the ruler of the synagogue, do not be afraid, only believe. Do not be afraid, only believe. Why was that important? Because whatever he says at that time, all right, will affect his faith, will affect the way he will handle that matter. He can respond in faith or respond in fear. And you will pick that from his words. All right, he can respond. Some of you, if you were told that, oh, the business didn't, there's an issue with the documentation of the business, what do you say? Oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, God. Yeah. Or do you respond and say, it's all right. It's all right. It will be sorted. God is in charge. You know, God is in control. Things will be fine. How do you respond? That's what we're looking at here. Many times in life, there are situations that will come at us. You know, your initial response, your first response will determine how you will go about that matter. In fact, it will determine the amount of wisdom that will be available to you, and to determine how the matter will turn out eventually. So Jesus turned to Jairus and said, Only believe. Don't give room to fear. Don't respond in fear. That's what he's saying. Don't respond in fear. Respond in faith. Let me share with you another story from the Bible. There's this story in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 20, verse 37. It was the story of the woman who had believed God for a child. Didn't have a child for a long time. The man of God met him, Elijah, and of course, God blessed him. But this particular day, in chapter 4, 2 Kings chapter 4, this boy went to the farm with the father, and he complained about some minor issue, and the father brought him to the mom, sent the servant to bring to the mom. And I'm going to be reading from verse number 20. When he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon, and then died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, shut the door upon him, and went out. Then she called to her husband and said, please send me one of the young men, one of the donkeys, that I may run to the man of God and come back. So he said, why are you going to him today? It is neither the new moon or the Sabbath. And she said, it is well. Look at this woman's response. When faced with life situation, how do you respond? Your first response, as it were, will determine the amount of wisdom, the amount of power, faith that is available to you, and to determine how the matter will turn out eventually. All right. The woman responded by, first of all, she took the boy inside and lay the boy on the bed, of the man of God. Spiritual response. Then the next thing, got on his stuff, and said, I'm going to see the prophet, to see the man of God. Then the husband asked and said, what happened? A number of people asked him along the way. He said, it is well. It is well. It is well. How are you responding to life situation? Are you responding in fear, or are you responding in faith? Are you responding in the spirit, or you are responding in the flesh? Those are the options. You can respond in faith. You can respond in fear. You can respond, all right, in the spirit. You can respond in the flesh, in the natural, all right. And so people get stuck because they told you the fee has been increased. The documentation has issues. There was delay with the delivery of the goods that you've ordered for. Then so and so. Then the next thing is, hey, I'm in trouble. Hey, why will you say you're in trouble? No. What about, God is in charge. Don't worry, God will take over. Don't worry, God is in charge. When you were giving your medical report, health issues and all of that, what was your first response? Do you open up to Satan, or you open up to God? Did you respond in faith or in fear? Are you responding in the spirit, or you are responding in the flesh? Are you responding with audacity in the word of God, faith in the word of the Lord? All right. Mind the way you respond. Every time something comes out, the first thing that comes out of your mouth, the very first thing that comes out of your mouth, will go a long way in determining how that matter is resolved. It will also go a long way in determining the wisdom that is available to you, that will help you, the wisdom you use to solve that matter. All right. And the power of God that will be available at that time. I will continue from here. All right. There are factors that determine your response too. All right. I'm going to continue from here maybe some other time. God bless you.